Hello, this is Claudia de Fuentes from the Sobi School of Business at St. Mary's University. In this session, we are going to be talking about the value of prototyping. That comes after the ideation session, then it comes prototyping. And that has to do with the power of experimentation, with the power of doing, to have something tangible that we can bring back to the users to get feedback. So the objective of this prototyping session is not to create something that is ready to sell, not at all. It's something that is rough, it's something that is fast, it's something that is going to allow us to go and engage into a next conversation with the users that we have in mind, and to be able to learn, keep learning, and integrate that learning into the prototype that we have. So prototyping gets your ideas that you have in your head into the world. You have to generate something tangible. A prototype can be actually anything that gets a physical form. The physical form can be a role-playing activity, can be an object, can be a diagram, can be an image, can be anything that your users can see, can experiment, and that allows you to get feedback in the early stages to incorporate into your next prototypes. The cheaper you do it, the faster you do it, the faster you fail, and the faster you succeed. So this allows you to explore many different opportunities and be able to collect that learning. So the prototypes and prototyping stage is the most useful when actually you allow your user to experience what you're trying to generate for them, what solution you're trying to generate. That also allows you to connect with them to gather the learning that you have. So the prototype stage in design thinking is an iterative generation of artifacts, of something physical, tangible, that is intended to actually answer a question that you have, like how might we question, right? And allows you to get faster, closer to your final solution. So in this early stage of prototyping, you have to generate something that allows you to connect with the user. Think about quick prototypes, think about anything that you might have at hand that allows you to connect with the user in a tangible way. You're going to test your assumptions. It's kind of like when you go for the interview, remember, in the interview stage, you're still learning. So what is going to allow you to do that learning? What is going to allow you to do the experimentation that is at the end going to allow you to bring your ideas to life? So building prototypes means making ideas tangible, learning from your ideas, learning from the users that are able to engage with your prototypes, and even, yes, cheap and rough prototypes are fine, or inexpensive and rough prototypes are fine, and because that is going to allow you to further improve them and keep building into your idea. Actually, a prototype can be anything that the user can interact with, can see, can test, can be frustrated or can be happy with, right? Perhaps you can set a specific scenario, specific role playing, and invite the user to test that scenario. Perhaps a prototype can be a storyboard where you guide the user on the specific steps that they have to follow. Perhaps you can create a diagram, just a diagram in a piece of paper, where you explain what are the different elements that are relevant to your idea, or create a story. Let the user listen to the story. Perhaps you're going to do a mock-up model or a physical device, or perhaps do a role play. The most important thing of prototyping is to bring something that the user can see, can feel, can engage with, and can test. Perhaps if it's something that he or she can use, allow them to use them, allow them to be frustrated with the prototype, because that is an important learning. Don't tell him or her how to use it, allow them. Is it something that is intuitive? If so, then you're in the right track. If not, you have to come back and see how can you improve the prototype in the next stage. So some examples of prototypes, as you can see, they don't have to be expensive. They just have to allow you to connect with the user to gather the early feedback. Why do we prototype? We prototype to ideate and solve a problem. We build to think. Prototyping allows us to think and allows us to make other people think, right? A prototype is going to allow you to communicate. If a drawing tells you more than 1,000 words, then a prototype tells you 1,000 more than an image, right? So it allows you to communicate faster. A prototype is also going to allow you to start a conversation, especially in early stages of a prototype. You're going to bring the prototype, you're going to bring the test or the concept to your users, and you're going to get the feedback and see if you're in the right track or not. It's going to allow you to fail cheaply and quickly. The rougher the prototype is, the faster you bring it to the user, and the faster you're going to collect the feedback to be able to iterate into the next nicer version of the prototype. Also, it's going to allow you to test for possibilities. Sometimes low-resolution prototype is going to allow you to uncover specific areas that perhaps you didn't think before. And is going to allow you to move from the solution into the building process. With using your hands, communicating in a different way with your users is extremely important for design thinking. How to prototype? According to the solution that you have thought, it might make more sense to develop something physical, like a device that the user can see and touch, or perhaps it makes more sense to develop a role play where the user actually engage into the activity that they are doing, or they have to test something, or perhaps you can develop a diagram where you show the user what are the different steps that they have to follow. Or perhaps you just want to identify a specific variable of a larger prototype. That you can do actually when you have advanced more in your prototype, and then you only want to test one particular element of your larger prototype. And also, you're going to prototype having the user, your core user, in mind. Remember what are their challenges, what they really value, what do they really need. That is essential for when you're doing your prototype. And the next stage is how might you improve your prototype. That is we're going to discuss in the next session. Thank you.